welcome to the Artist Corner. I'm Harry Platkow. We have as a special guest tonight, Christin, Helen, Barnett.
Barnett.
Barnett?
Yes.
I'll never remember that. I'll never remember
That's
that.
That's okay. I'm glad I remember my own name.
I am so pleased to have you on the show. I want to discuss your work, but I want you to humor an old man for a minute. I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right. You're originally from Germany.
That's right.
You're a young woman, probably in your early 30s.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I take that. I'm not commenting any further.
2 kids.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. When I was growing up in Connecticut as a kid, there was no mention at all in American history books about the Japanese being interned during World War II. My question to you is, as a representative of young Germany, how was the Holocaust depicted? What did they say about the final solution when you were in high school?
We talked about the Holocaust and about the war non-stop. It was taught from a very young age. It started in primary school and it went all the way up through all classes, through all levels, and we were almost taught to be ashamed to be German, so you would never see a German flag anywhere. When I came here, it was a real shock to me. American flags everywhere, and I mean huge. Everyone has a flag outside. Everyone is, oh, I'm American. If we would do that as Germans, people would frown on us, and we would frown ourselves because we're now so talked into being like, I don't know, a lesser people in a way. So it wasn't, we know a lot about it, and we don't like our history, obviously. Germany has changed a lot. There's nothing left of the war, thankfully, and it's quite a diverse nation now, and it's a nice place.
Germany has a conscience in 2018, huh?
Oh yeah, we had a conscience for a long time now, yes.
There's so much to talk about your art. I want to discuss the piece that we got up here right now. That's a watercolor.
No, it's an acrylic.
Acrylic, really?
Yes, it is.
Was it taken from a still life, or was this something out of your mind?
That was something out of my mind. I like to paint flowers for myself, and they just come out of my mind. And that's one of my favorite flowers. It's a cornflower. They grow as a weed in the big cornfields and wheat fields and so on.
Yeah.
And I used to pick them as a child.
Oh.
And
What do you call that piece?
You know what? I rarely have any names for my pieces, so let's make up a name. Let's call it Cornflower Blue.
I never heard Cornflower Blue. I like that. It sounds like an album cover to me. Cornflower Blue.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one, Jer.
That's a poppy flower. They also grow in wheat and cornfields. You can tell I grew up quite rural. There were lots of fields where I grew up.
That is a poppy?
That's a poppy. They all poppy flowers, they only have 4 petals, and they come in all sorts of colors over here.
Okay.
But where I come from, they're bright red, and it's just stunning, that color to me. You can be in the middle of a thunderstorm, but if you see a poppy, it's so bright and so beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next one, Jer.
These are, I painted those birds before I knew what they were called, and I think they're Canadian geese.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
They settle in Hopedale every year.
Yeah, they keep flying over our house, and my youngest daughter, she's fascinated. She can't talk yet, but she points at the birds and squeals in delight, so I had to paint them.
Now, how long did it take to do that one? I mean, obviously the birds are in flight. The image must have been in your mind for a long time in order for you to do that, right?
Yeah, I started just sketching the different bird movements when they came by, and
Yeah.
then the painting itself didn't take long. It's the preparation that takes longer, but the painting was done in a day. Really.
Now, was this acrylic as well?
That's an oil painting.
Oil painting.
Yeah, oil. You can get a lot smoother with oil
Yeah.
for the clouds and so on.
Beautiful. Next one, Jer. What do we got?
That's my husband, actually. When he was a bit younger, he's got less hair now and it's a bit grayer, but he still looks good.
That's a nice portrait.
Yeah, I do like it. It was.
Did he have to sit for that?
No, I paint portraits from photos.
Oh.
It's a time issue because they are so long. You take a long time painting a portrait, and there's lots of different sessions because you have many layers and they need to dry in between. You can't make someone sit who isn't royalty and has nothing better to do. So I take photos and then I paint.
Right. Boy, that's so lifelike.
Thank
It
you.
sounds like he looks like a nice guy too.
He's a nice guy, yeah. He's
Drop
a keeper.
that one, Jared. What do we got? Oh.
So there's the photo on the right and the painting on the left, and that was the first baby of a very good friend of mine, and oh, she's so cute. She was such a good baby as well. She slept fine. She never cried. She, the kind of baby that makes you want to have babies, and then your own don't turn out like that. But yeah, she's beautiful. She's now 7 years old, so I did this from an old picture. Yeah.
Beautiful. Next one, Jer.
That's paint night. I teach paint nights.
Yes, I want to talk about that. You're an art teacher.
Yeah.
You teach out of your house.
Yes.
One thing that you do, and hopefully it's in the series here, you introduce very young children into the muse of art at a very early age.
Yes, I
This
do.
is something that one would suspect would be unique to Upper West Side, New York, or Park Avenue Daycare Center, Beacon Hill Daycare Center.
Are you telling me I have to move?
No, I'm just very grateful you are what you are, where you are. Tell us about how that came to be.
It happened because I was searching for an activity for my oldest child when she was very small. And I'm an artist, and I gave classes for adults, and I thought there has to be something around for smaller kids. But there wasn't. There are the typical library programs, and they're fantastic. I went to all of them. But I wanted something specific that introduces the little kids to paint, and where they can be messy, because as parents, you always take care that they don't get dirty and all your surroundings are nice and clean. That's not good. They need to get into it and get messy and explore. So I set that up when she was 9 months old. I started a baby art club with, I think, 10, 12 babies. And then it evolved from there. Now I do the Kids Culture Club, and we travel around the world talking about different countries and cultures and art and so on.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And how old is the youngest child in those classes?
In the Culture Club classes, 2.5 to 5 years old.
And this is where you introduce kids into painting and artwork and...
Yeah, the Culture Club is more introducing them to the world and telling them there's more than Menden, And then I have an artist club where I introduce them to famous artists, and they can try out their style and how they paint it and so on.
And how old are the people in that group?
Same age,
Incredible.
2.5 to 5. Yeah.
So you get a little baby in your house, you have paints all over the place, and probably some paper. Do you take a young kid, 2.5 years old, and immerse their hands in color and have them go about their thing?
I do, but of course I make the colors for them at this age, so they're completely edible. There's nothing toxic about it.
Yeah.
Especially during the baby classes, I made the colors out of flour and food coloring and water and so on. It works the same. It was a color experience, but none of the parents had to be scared that they put it in their mouth and so on. And when they get older, from 2.5, they're okay. They can use watercolors and the non-toxic acrylics.
Yeah.
They do special kids' colors. And that's fine, because they won't necessarily put it in their mouth. You can tell them not to, and they will understand what you're saying.
Right.
So they get more grown-up color, and they love that.
We have some photos done by the kids as well, too, right?
Yeah,
they're probably in the series. Jerry, let's go to the next one, man.
That's a class I taught at my studio. They painted a scene in Maine. That's the what's that national park up there? Acadia
yeah.
National Park.
Yeah.
They painted. That's an oil painting.
Did they all go up there?
No, they love to paint fairly local scenes. So I said to them, what you want to paint? And one of them dropped, oh, let's do the Acadia National Park because it's so wild and rough. Not like the Cape where it's more like a smooth sand and, you know, they wanted rocks and something wild.
So did you present photos of them to paint from?
No, I painted the picture. I usually have a motif ready that people see and then they can sign up for the class.
Oh, I see.
And then we all paint the same painting, but everyone's turns out different because everyone has a different spin on color mixing and so on. But I walk them through it step by step, so they know what to do next and how to achieve, let's say, the spray of the water or the rocks.
That always fascinates me, getting a wave, capturing a wave. I don't know how it's done, but I'm a sucker for it every time I see it. Next one? That's
another class in action. That's how my studio looks like. It's actually a basement, but it looks pretty good for a basement. High ceilings, nice light, and so on. And yeah, so everyone brings their own snacks and drinks and has a good time.
There's a beer there.
Yeah, people do that. They have a lot of fun.
How does somebody get involved in your classes?
They just have to call me. They have to call me or email me and tell me, hey, I want to do a class. And I will say, yeah, of course you can do a class.
We're going to have your phone number at the closing credit so people can contact you.
Good idea.
Let's go to the next one.
So this is a typical painting that I do with a class. I have flower paint nights. This would be an example for it. That's an oil painting. And I teach people how they achieve the soft petals, the see-throughness of a flower. So yeah, that's a typical one. I brought 3 paint night paintings, so there should be a next one coming up.
Next one, Jer?
Yeah, so that's a seascape I do with classes. Again, it's an oil painting. Oil is perfect for beginners. Everyone tells me they're a bit scared of oils, but it's so easy because you can't make a mistake with an oil.
You can't make a mistake with oil?
No, you can't, because you can go over it as many times as you want. You can't do that with a watercolor, but you can with oil, so it's perfect.
Is that your favorite medium?
You need to do oil painting.
Is that your favorite medium?
I love it, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's wonderful. You have instant success as a beginner. You can correct it really easy.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Everyone should try it.
Oils.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one? Oh.
That is another typical paint night painting. Oils again. There's nothing softer than an oil color. You can achieve really nice gradients with it and so on.
You don't treat the paper in any way with oils as you would do with watercolor, right?
No, not really. I teach a lot of the classes in the Bob Ross style, which, you know, Bob Ross, the one with the big hair from the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he puts on his canvas what's called liquid white. It's a thinned down oil painting, and oil paint. And yeah, so that goes on first.
Cool.
It just makes the colors slide nicely.
Right. Oh, that is beautiful. I could look at that all day. Next one?
That's another paint class. I did a plein air class, I think, when was that one? Last summer, I think. So sometimes I rustle up some people and I say, let's go through town and paint something beautiful. And that was a farm on Quizet Hill in Menden.
Okay.
And they have just the most beautiful gardens and landscape, and we just sat there for an afternoon painting and drawing.
I never heard of it. What's the name of the hill?
Quizet Hill.
Quizet Hill.
Quizet Hill Road, and there are 2 farms right at the end of it, and they're just so picturesque.
Oh, cool. Check that out.
Yeah.
Next one, Jer?
That is a baby belly. So sometimes I'm asked to paint a mother's growing child, basically. So this particular mom, she loves African animals and safaris and so on. So she said, can you paint a giraffe and her baby on my belly?
God.
So I did. And
she gave birth to a giraffe. That's pretty good.
Yeah. It was quite unusual.
Next one. Oh.
That is a kids class at a library. That one's the Uxbridge Library. They're doing the culture club there, and they all did a little project. So we talk about different countries. I bring a new country every week.
Yeah.
We talk about it. We listen to the language. I usually bring songs, CDs. Sometimes I bring a typical food that they can try, which doesn't always go so well with kids. But
it's amazing,
you know,
what you're doing.
They have the opportunity. It's usually a simple food, you know, nothing scary. And then we talk about artists, their styles, traditional styles and modern styles out of the country. And then they do their own little project. We usually have a story too, so it's a cute little fun-filled hour.
Do you talk to them about Cubism?
Not in this class, because
No.
that's the culture club, but in my artist club I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different class. So this one is more about different cultures around the globe. You know, you can never tell them too early that we're a big place.
Right. Do you have openings in all these little classes that you're giving?
I do them on a regular basis. So when I start a new one, I advertise it, and then people sign up for the entire course.
Okay.
It's usually 6 classes running, and then I start a new one. Lately, the libraries have been really supportive, especially the Menden one. They had last year, I think, 3 kids programs booked, which is fantastic, really. And I'm starting one again in March at the Menden Library, which is the kids, famous artists for little kids, that's what it's called. And they talk about the huge big artists that we know, but they aren't yet.
Right.
So I show them paintings, I talk about their life, when they lived, where they lived, why have they painted the way they painted, things like that.
Excellent. Next one, Jer.
That's the culture club again, so I always bring a huge map, and we talk about, at this age, we talk about basics. How many continents are there? How many oceans do we have? Where is what located? Where do we live on this planet? So they come up to the map, and we talk about where everything is. And
that's incredible.
That's how I start every class, and I repeat that every single week. Because the least thing I want is that they know, okay, we have 7 continents and they are there.
And they're so young to know this stuff. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Now, certifications for this, do you have them? Do you have a lot of certifications from, say, the Board of Education and things like this?
No, I don't. I'm just an artist. I went to art college in Germany, and then I moved on becoming a graphic designer. Still work as such part-time as well. And it all started from there. People wanted classes, so I give them what they want.
You provide a wonderful service. You really do. Next one?
That is a culture club as well. Oh yeah, we were talking about Germany that day, and they are spraying their own piece of the Berlin Wall. Yeah.
Is that what she's doing?
Yes, she's doing her own spray painting.
Excellent. And she seems to be very well adjusted, I must say.
Yeah.
Next one, Jer?
Now, this is a famous artist for Little Kids Club. That day we talked about Frida Kahlo and how she was bedbound, basically. And so we laid down and they all had a mirror, because she had a mirror on the top of her bed, and they just looked at themselves while they laid there. And then we started painting self-portraits like Frida Kahlo. So yeah, every time I do a class for kids, there has to be an experience for them, otherwise they will not remember. So I try to do little things like that for them.
Next one? Here they are. They're painting like
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo.
Yeah, the old masters who did the murals in the churches and the nice ceilings.
Incredible.
I told them how many hours the artists had to lay down and paint like this, and the paint would drip down.
They understood from hours?
Well, kids can't lay there for hours, but
right.
You know, they tried for 10 minutes or so. And they had fun, but it's important they know how things like that work and happened. And
next one, Jer?
that is the very cool recycling art club, this was called, at the Menden Library, the new library. And we did this mural on a bookshelf out of trash, basically, because that was what the club was about, to bring new life to things you would usually throw away.
Right.
Yeah, that was a fun summer club that we did.
You're so vital in what you're doing. Incredible. And we are going to post your name and your phone number and an email address where people can get in contact with you.
That's great.
And, you know, it really is. I can't imagine, where would you go other than Beacon Hill or the Upper West Side to get kids involved in the Muse at such a young age?
I don't know. I'm not from here.
You're just doing what comes naturally, right?
I just do whatever comes into my mind, and that's a lot sometimes. I have so many projects going on all the time, and sometimes I wish my mind would not spit out so many things, because all I do is run and do new things, but that's just how my brain works, I guess. So it's good. I'm having fun with that. I couldn't just sit at home doing nothing.
I figure you wouldn't be able to do just nothing.
No.
Now, when you were living in Germany, you went through the educational process. Did you go to a parochial school or a public high school?
Pretty much all schools are public in Germany. No one pays for school, for college, for university. It's all free. Nice, I know.
Incredible. You went to college for free?
Yeah.
What college did you go to?
I went to an art college first, and then I did a technical college for the graphic design. And yeah, I worked in advertising agencies and for publishers and all sorts of things.
I remember you telling me about the process. You have to go through an apprentice process, a journeyman type of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did that work specifically with you?
So I took on an apprenticeship as a graphic designer. That means for 3 days a week, I'm with a master, someone who's done graphic design for a long time. In my case, it was in advertising agencies. I had 3 masters, which was fantastic. We're still friends to this day. And for the other 2 days, you have to attend a college, so you get all the theoretical knowledge.
Yeah.
So by the end of it, it's going on for 3 years, and you test it throughout, and you have to manage certain stages, and then there's a huge test at the end, and so on. But by the end of it, you don't only know the theory, you can actually use it, and that's what makes it so valuable.
Yeah. What accounts, when you were working at the ad agency, what accounts did you work with?
What do you mean by that?
What businesses?
Oh, we had so many different businesses. One, I remember, they produced, what is it called? Garden gnomes and water pumps and everything that goes in a cute little European garden. And they had all these crazy products, and we had to do the packaging for it.
Yeah.
Another one was GE Lighting in Germany. They have a different division. So we worked for them. We had, what else? I worked for different magazines. One was a horse magazine, which I'm not into horses, but I did a horse magazine, okay. One was a magazine for vegetarian cooking, that was nice.
And you did the layout on these things?
Yeah.
You did you start off with the concept and then bring it to the people in charge?
Yeah, you start off with an idea and you put your idea together, and then you meet with the customer, basically.
And you work with a team in this process?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Amazing. You work for the town crier.
I do, yeah.
And what do you do for them?
I do the layout as well, yeah. They need me for 2 days to just put the paper together and send it to print.
So when they get the town crier, they look at the front page and they say, Christin?
Yeah, it's my fault. I'm sorry.
They're wonderful people to work for, aren't they?
They are very nice, yeah. They're good people, yeah. And I started writing a column for them as well every now and then.
Oh, cool.
So look out for my name. I'm writing a column too.
Something political, I suspect.
No, no, nothing political.
I'm only kidding.
It's fun. I like to write happy things, so no politics.
For happy things in the Milford Town Crier, check out Helen's column.
Yeah.
Christin, Helen Barnett.
Christin, yeah.
Thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you next month, everybody. We have Mike Zeiss coming in sometime in February. Don Accavelli will be coming in after that, and some other folks as well. So if you're so inclined, give your mom a call if you're so blessed, and if it's within your purview, hire a vet. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.